So we'd like to go to Carmel on that note, because Carmel has a different way of expressing himself, and his is through video and art. And Carmel, you have the ability to screen share, but I'll let you introduce yourself first. So, Carmel, can you tell us a bit more about yourself and your efforts?
Yeah, sure. Firstly, of course, it's great to be here, and thanks very much for the opportunity. One thing I do want to say about the Australian government is it's a must-watch, the Honest Government ad by
Yes,
Fuse Media. It's a
yes,
masterpiece. It's brilliant, and it's horrific to watch. Yeah,
yeah.
so it goes viral internationally. So my name is Carmel. I'm 30 years old from a town called Haifa in Israel. Um, I live with my girlfriend and I am a 3D animator. You know, the people who do the Velociraptor you saw in the UN's ad. And that's what I do for a living, but I wanted to give more of myself to the world, to the climate change fight, to things even bigger than that, planetary boundaries, social injustice, everything is basically connected if you connect the dots well. So I wanted to help the world as much as much as I can for my future and for everyone's. So we're all in the same boat, more or less. And and um, and so I decided to give from what I have best, which is animation. I can also draw some illustrations and Photoshop edits and whatever. I did learn quite a lot in the past 2 years about climate change. Um, so I have a lot of things to say as well, and I would agree with most what your messages are. So that's a good thing. And what I can give the world is art. So as an artist, I think that us artists should, you know, not just make art for the fun, for the inspiration and motivation we find in ourselves, for our own selfish causes, but also for things that should make the world a better place. Otherwise, it'll just be for for fun and that's it. And I think we have to do a lot more than that, especially in these critical times. So I could share a few things. I don't remember which works did I share, did I send last time. Uh, so I have here on my drive all of my works. I could share a few with you. You said the coronavirus one, right?
Yeah, and also the simulator, but I think the coronavirus first, maybe the steak one, and then the simulator, but also the glass hour artwork. I think that was brilliant as well.
Thank you. Let's begin with it then. For it was the first painting that I did.
Yeah.
So this is called the Glass Hour. You can see it, right?
Yes,
All right. So the Glass Hour is my first environmental painting. I did it a little more, yeah, a little more than 2 years ago. And this chaos that I want to bring to the front using this illustration is like to show all of our problems in one place, which resemble the hourglass. Usually the earth is up top and then it melts down into something oblivion or whatever in the lower part of the hourglass. But I thought it's more appropriate to put it down below, actually, with the consequences of our actions building up and building up in the form of trash you'll see soon, and piling all over us, covering us with this is coal and you know, fossil fuel, but other forms as well. So I will get a little bit closer, for it's a rather big illustration. So here you can see this could work as a painting on its own, actually. People suffering, a lot of suffering, and that'd be the part of the consequences part. You know, fossil fuel covered everywhere, smog, diseases, and, you know, unbreathable air and so forth. And the reason I chose to have people, women pregnant, is because of the overpopulation regarding over consumption of and exploitation of resources that we currently have, with no signs of stopping yet. So being one of the problems is just that we're too much, we are too many, using too many resources. So all of this with clothes here, piling whatever types of trash, and top of all of this, we have you know, the poor people who suffer. But on top of, and you know, we have catastrophes with help here with the rising tides, and you know, other natural disasters. On top of this, we have a pile of money, and standing on top of it, we have, you know, the governments, the corporations, the people who don't see anyone below them, but their own short-term profit and power. In the form, they promote this in the form of violence, and in a form of controlling the energy section using fossil fuels, pouring it on the people. So this is a top part, which is the consequences one. It's so massive that it's already spilling from all over the place, not just from the inside, and then it spills over the earth. With the beautiful earth that we have, I also put here a little sign of hope in Costa Rica, where if things can look different, if we do want them to look differently, but there are also consequences appearing already now everywhere in the form of plastic pollution and the fossil fuel spilling, and the emissions from the transportation sector. You know, more and more cars and planes and ships and plants, and the animals which are screaming for their lives as we tear down their forests, and of course the pangolin and the orangutan and the polar bear with the fossil fuel covered last glacier it's standing on, the already unfortunately extinct blue macaw in the Amazon forest, as their forest is being cut down for animal agriculture and using fires, and for more mining. And we have the gas rigs and the other animals which are also extinct. All the animals that I put here are endangered species, code red, of course. And you know, the abuse that we mindedly every day promote in the form of meat and other forms of terrible treatment, not only of other species, but of ourselves as well. The less fortunate we overexploit in every possible opportunity we can, and all, space junk as well, not just inside the earth, and the other animals that suffer from it. In a harsh desert, brings out the hourglass.
Wow, I never looked at it like that before, Carmel. I just saw it as a great likeness, and you know that there's the environmental message there regarding, in particular, fossil fuels and climate change. But I'm so glad that you actually went through it. I'm just even looking at on the other computer the capitalism one with the chill dude up the top. I just wondered, maybe you could explain that as well.
All right, so yeah, that's one of the more recent ones. Yeah, so I called it capitalism, as it clearly shows. The title says, chill dude, our resources are finite, leave some for your children. As we overexploit the Earth's resources by about 173%, and that's the global average. In my country, Israel, we are fourth in the world, probably three now. It's from 2017, with an overexploitation rate of 2,500% overexploitation of our local resources, which is insane. That's due to overpopulation and overconsumption. And the combination of which brings out a terrible, terrible outcome for the environment and our lives, but a great outcome for capitalism and the free market, which only wants to grow on top of these resources. So what I put in the drawing, the illustration here, yeah, the message down below here, it says consuming in moderation for our children. So we have the corporation, which is represented by here by this big man with the economy hat, shrinking down the earth, over taking all of its resources in the form of natural fossil fuels and filling the average person with them. He's happily consuming them because, you know, it's a cycle where they want us to have to consume as much as we could possibly as much we could possibly can without hesitation, without stopping to think, because we get, you know, all these biological feedbacks from the brain that just want us to consume more and more and more. So yeah, so that it says with ads of eat more, buy more, drive more, waste more, destroy more, and then we feed this to our children, the very same way of living of, you know, we don't look at the outcomes, the consequences of this consumption. So just feed them more, you know, and this goes straight from them to us and back to our children, which will finish this cycle. But here I wanted to paint a picture a little differently as a child, which is a current generation, which is also a lot more aware than my generation, for example. So he's having quite a dodgy look, and you can see that he's not happy with this. He realizes that this is not the way it should be, and this generation is one which is going to stand up to this this way of living, which is killing not just us but everything around us, and it's the least sustainable picture possible to live in. And this is what I wanted to show in this specific picture.
Well, that is so powerful, Carmel.
Thank you very much, Tony, and everyone. Yeah, I have more you know, illustrations or movies, whatever I managed to send you, whatever you want to see more, I could show.
Great to see the Corona Earth, and also the steak, and then going on to the simulator. In the meantime, you can probably hear my four-legged girl wanting something. So I'll hand it over to you, Carmel, to go through those, because they're absolutely brilliant. And I'm
Thank you so much.
Carmel, just before you show it, is there do you have a Facebook page or a website or something that we could?
Yeah, everything is under The Environmental Artist. This is my Facebook page. This is my logo, which was created specifically for all these messages all in one place that I wanted to share with the world, and that's it.
Okay.
The incredibly rich variety of images that you packed into the that hourglass. I mean, it's just absolutely mind-boggling. How did you create that art? I mean, what is the process involved to make something like that?
Thank you so much. I'll share with you. I began by looking for references, all sorts of, what kind of an atmosphere I wanted to show. Lots of super awesome art by different people. And then I went on to begin planning.
Oh,
So
wow. That one.
So
sorry, keep going.
Yeah, see if it can arrange this by date. So first, let's see which one was first. I began by drawing. Yeah, I think the tree was the first thing that I painted. So then I went on to the orangutan, and lots of small details every now and then until the entire picture was. I think this might work better like this. You can see from ref to final picture. So
Okay.
this is the very first version of that I drew on a piece of paper. Say, okay, I wanted these things to happen here and these there and so on. And yeah, they aren't all that well arranged, but this is how the final image was processed. So
yeah.
How many hours do you think you spent creating this magnificent and powerful environmental hourglass image?
Come to think of it now, as it's been like more than 2 years, I kind of don't remember, but I think that would be about might have been a month, might have been more, during a full-time job, but something more or less along these lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's this creation process. There's always look at for more ideas and tests and so on. So yeah, that's that. There's even an idea to put here fire down below, but it's less successful. So yeah, so another piece this time it would be animation. Yeah, that was a rather quick process that took, I think, 3 weeks. I did this at the start of the coronavirus a year and a half ago. I wanted to link what was going on to the climate crisis, because everything's related, and this is what I came up with.
Very cool.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is the Corona Earth. I hope it's self-explained. No need to explain any further. And this was done a few months after I did, I think, the best video that I did so far, which is what I called When the Stakes Are High. Which is, well, I'll show it first and then we can talk if there's a need to explain anything further. I think it's this one.
Wow.
That was absolutely fantastic.
Thank you very
I
much.
had seen that one before. I had not seen the Tyrannosaurus Rex video before, but that was quite spot on effective as well. Can you show us the one that has Greta Thunberg on it? For it was in a yellow coat. There we go. Could you show us that one, please?
Sure, no problem. Of course. Thank you very much. I'll just say about the food for thought one, when the stakes are high, is that I wanted to, to touch on spots where people usually do not talk, the ones that people usually don't talk about, where it hurts the most. Because when we talk about stake, for example, as an anecdote to animal-based diet, so you say, but it's just too tasty, I can't resist it. I mean, I know the consequences, but it's so good. So I want to show, all right, let's put a black mirror right in front of the person saying that and see just how far does it go. Just how tasty is it, that it's worth whatever consequences they'll bring. So this was the point of that video that I wanted to show.
Yes.
All right, so moving on to something else. This is called Economy Forever, which was done rather recently. And it goes like this.
People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
Wow. I know Alfred would love that. So I think everyone obviously knows the message about the economic eternal growth, and even economists who specialize in climate change realize that something has to change and promote the idea of a carbon price in some way, shape or form. So it's, yeah, thank you, Carmen Cabell, for that as well. So I guess the simulator is probably one of the last ones.
Yeah, I could show, it's 5 minutes long. Is it okay?
What do you think, guys?
I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
All right, so this time, well, an animation cannot be this long if I wanted to take less than 2 years in the making. So this time I want to look for people to shoot, real life, but I couldn't find. So I said, heck, I'll just do it myself. So here are 5 minutes where I filmed myself focusing on individual solutions to climate change, entitled Everything That You Can Do to Help Fight Climate Change. This is fine.
So you want to help to prevent climate change, but you don't really know how. Well, you came to the right place. Welcome to the Solution Simulator, where you'll learn how to make a difference and help humanity not to screw up. We'll go over a variety of actions and see how they affect different aspects of climate change, earn points and see your score at the end. Ready? Let's go. First, we have the electricity and heating sector, which makes up a fourth of the greenhouse gas emissions. To cut on your emissions here, you can install solar panels on your rooftop. Avoid using the dryer and use cooler water. Turn off unnecessary lights and devices. Look for more efficient technologies for light bulbs, fridges, and the AC. Frequently clean the air conditioner filters. Set it to moderate temperatures, and favor the fan when possible. Lastly, try to find alternatives to bonfires and fireplaces. The industry sector is responsible for a fifth of the emissions, supporting everything that we use. You could therefore buy second-hand furniture, refrain from buying things that you already have, buy less clothes to reduce your support of fast fashion. Bring your own reusable cutlery, bottles, bags, and packages when ordering and buying food. Buy in bulk and avoid small packages. Recycle everything that you can in the appropriate place. Buy or lease a second-hand car. Look for simpler toys and gifts that last long. Find a new use for old items. Reduce the use of paper products. Finally, move to an existing apartment instead of building a new one. Agriculture and the conversion of land make 14% of the emissions, mainly for livestock grazing. To cut your emissions, reduce animal products, especially beef, by choosing the alternatives. Prevent food waste by eating and ordering the right amount for you, as well as welcoming ugly but tasty food. Try growing your fruits and veggies or go organic. Compost leftovers instead of throwing to the trash. Reduce buying harmful products like inorganic palm oil and almond milk. And support food rescuing organizations. Transportation makes 14% of the emissions, which come mainly from cars and trucks. Find opportunities to switch a car for a bus or train, or better yet, bikes. Use apps to help you out and choose a train over a plane. Consider the option of going hybrid or get an electric car. Avoid driving alone and always look for carpooling options. Drive more efficiently and don't leave the engine running when unnecessary. Prefer a smaller car or a more fuel-efficient option. Move to a public transportation-friendly neighborhood. Try to work from home more often. And frequently hold online meetings to reduce the need in flying. If you do fly, sit in the economy class. And offset your carbon footprint to compensate on the emissions. Also, look for alternatives to cruise trips. Our homes and buildings make up the last 6% of the emissions. Here you could wash dishes in levels with cold water and close the tap when soaking. Then you could use the excess water for other purposes. Challenge yourself to a cold shower with low flow and flush according to need. Wash your car with a bucket or in a designated place. And improve house insulation with shade and more efficient materials. Last, we have general choices and activities with great potential for huge influence. Choose a small family and consider adoption. Donate to preserve crucial rainforests. Take investments of polluting companies and support greener companies instead. Protest to make your voice heard to companies and governments. Vote for political parties that have long-term goals. Spread awareness to reach as many people as possible. Take your green habits to work and switch your company to a greener direction. Lastly, focus on activities and experiences that enrich your soul, like sports, arts, music, and relationships. Simulation complete. Now, take your score and reduce it off 2,100 to see at what year, if we all acted like you, we could prevent climate change. Now remember, we can't all expect others to fix our future for us, because if we do, thanks very much for watching. If you want to see more of my content, check out my page, The Environmental Artist. Peace out.
So these were 5 minutes of me.
Yeah, it's definitely a different direction from the others, a bit more serious as well. But I guess there's a point to everything, and an attitude to create, because otherwise we won't think about certain things as well. So yeah, thank you so much, Carmel, for
Yeah,
all
these
of
are.
that.
Yeah, thank you. This is the reference list for the video, which I still a year later continue to update from time to time. So I did quite a lot of research to get all the details right. And it's not perfect, but more or less. And yeah, I wanted to sometimes try go using humor, sometimes be more serious and see what works, and try all sort of things.
Your efforts are certainly seen there, and you can tell that you spent a lot of time and effort, and just thank you so much for that. And also Michael's been so great too, who's an avid supporter and always here and always listening, which is really great. And so I guess in trying to go on to the next topic, which is Shak, which is really important with First Nations. I'd like to give you sort of like a comment first regarding COP26 and what you hope is the outcome of, deliberations amongst leadership. What would be your hope, Carmel?
Oh, I thought this question was to Shak.
No, we'll go to Shak in a second. I have to hand it over to Tony, who's going
I
to
was
be
waiting for him. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I thought before we do that, because Tony and Shak know each other so well, I'd just like to ask you before handing over what you would hope would be the outcome of COP26. Probably obvious, but if we can hear you sort of say.
All right. Yeah. So I was really happy to see the leakage of scientist rebellions, which are part of the Extinction Rebellion International Group, to the Group 3's research group of the IPCC's next report, continuation of this report, which is set, I think, to be released in March of next year, which shows that capitalism, as long as we have capitalism on, we cannot solve the climate crisis, only make it worse. And this is as official as it can get, in my opinion, right now. And it was leaked because it's immensely important. I believe this is the most important document that humanity has right now. And my dream, my wish would be that leaders would read it, they would react to it, that they would act accordingly, that they will finally understand that any plaster they put is not enough unless you look at the source of the problems, the roots, straight on. So basing their actions on this document is what I want any brave leader to do, because it's simply inevitable.
Thank you so much, Carmel. Thank you.